Later, my dear.
Alrighty, so today we're going to get going with lesson 4.3. And we're going to talk about the point slope form of the equation of a line. Okay. Now honestly, point slope form is one of my favorite forms. It is one that is acceptable on the AP calculus exam. And so it's kind of one of those things, if the College Board, which governs the AP, if they think it's acceptable in my mind too. And so this is what point slope form looks like. So far this is the third form we've got. We've got standard form, we've got slope intercept form. Now what we've got is we've got point slope form. So as its name implies, you're going to need a point and the slope to write it. And so the form is right here. This is what it looks like. I know in the formula that m is the slope and that x1, y1 is a point. So now what exactly would it look like without variables? That would be an example of what it would look like without variables. What would the slope be there? 5. Good. Now the point is going to be a little different because the point is always going to be the opposite of what they give you. So to find the point, I'm going to look at this number to find the x-coordinate. I'm going to look at this number to find the y-coordinate. And I'm going to use the opposite of those. So the point here, what will the x-coordinate be?
2.
The x-coordinate will be?
2.
-3. The y-coordinate will be? +2. So it's always the opposite. So when you put these in, remember to use the opposite. Why do we use the opposite? Because in the formula, it's got a minus sign. It's got a minus sign here. So we always use the opposite. So let's go ahead and look at an example. Write an equation in point slope form. So this is what your homework's going to look like. That passes through 3, -2, and has a slope of -5. This is very, very easy. So don't get all worried as long as you can remember the formula. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So now all we're going to do, we've got the slope, we've got the point. So first of all, the slope should be pretty easy. We know we've got a y here. We know we've got the slope here, and we've got the x here. So now we need to just plug values in. What's the slope?
-5.
-5, so that's going to go here. Now we've got to plug the point in. And so what is the x-coordinate? 3. So I'm going to go to where the x is in the formula, right here. And instead of putting +3, I'm going to put the opposite, which is -3. Now I'm going to go to the y-coordinate. The y-coordinate in the problem is? -2. So I'm going to write the opposite. So +2. And there you go. That's it. That's all there is. You don't have to simplify. Leave it as it is. Okay? Unless they specify, you leave it in point slope form. Let's look at another one. Write an equation in point slope form that passes through -2, 1 and has a slope of 1/3. I want you to try this one for me. Try this one for me based on what we looked at on the previous problem. No, that's fine. Is that what you have? Here, let's try it again. Let's try it again. Here, let's try that one again. Okay, we should have y, and then what should we have?
Minus 1.
Minus 1 equals
1/3.
1/3
X
times
x plus
x
2.
plus 2. So that kind of looks backwards because you kind of have to switch the coordinates, but that's the formula you should have gotten. Okay, questions? So let's go ahead and look at this one. What form is this given in? Point slope form, and we need to answer it in standard form. This is a very easy problem. Okay, remember standard form. Does anybody remember what standard form looks like? Yes.
It's ax plus by equals c.
Ax plus by equals c. And so what I need to do in this problem is I need to get it in that form. X plus y equals c. The other thing about standard form is, remember, there are no fractions. And so what I need to do is I'm going to start by distributing the negative 2/3 to each term. So when I distribute the negative 2/3, I first of all have y minus 1 equals negative 2/3 x plus, this is the easy way, what's 2 times 5?
10.
10. Now you're probably wondering what happened to the negatives. It was a negative 2 times a negative 5. That makes a positive 10. So now what I need to do is I need to go ahead and, if you remember, standard form had no fractions. I've got fractions here, right? So let's get rid of them. What could I multiply by to get rid of the fraction?
Reciprocals.
What could I multiply by to get rid of the fraction?
3.
3. So I'm going to multiply this by 3, this by 3, this by 3, and that by 3. So the first term becomes 3y minus 3. What is 3 times negative 2/3?
Negative 6.
Negative
2.
2x. Because remember, our whole goal was to get rid of the fraction. So see, those cancel. Plus, what will this give me?
30.
10.
Oh,
10, because it cancels. That's your whole goal. So then now my next step will be to go ahead and remember I need to get the x's and the y's on one side, the numbers on the other. So if you notice the x's and y's are on opposite sides, I'm going to add 2x to both sides. Reason being, the x was negative, so I want to make it positive. So I've got 2x plus 3y minus 3 equals 10. What's the final thing I need to do?
Add 3 to the other side.
Add 3 to the other side. And so I've got 2x plus 3y equals 13. The toughest part about these problems isn't going to be actually solving them. It's going to be remembering what form they are. So let's look at the next one. We need to put this one in standard form. So I need you to go ahead and put this in standard form. You've got to remember standard form. Ax plus by equals c. So, quick show of hands. How many had answer is not quite correct.
Yes.
Why is that answer not quite correct?
Because
7 cannot be negative. Remember, standard form, that lead term had to be positive. And so the correct answer is actually 7x minus y equals positive 36. How many had that?
I had plus one.
me and Maddie had totally had. Oh yeah.
Okay, good job. Good job. So remember, your lead term has to be positive. So let's go ahead.
I only have y.
Let's go ahead and look at this one, right in slope-intercept form. So now we need to remember, what is slope-intercept form? Y equals mx plus b. So you're going to have to recall those real quick. You're going to have to know standard form. You're going to have to know slope-intercept form. You're going to have to know point-slope form. So here we go. Right in slope-intercept form, what is the first thing I'm going to do? Distribute the negative 3. So I end up getting y plus 6 equals negative 3x plus 12. Now actually this one is a little easier than the problems we just got done doing, because what do I need to do now? To put this in slope-intercept form, move the 6. So by moving the 6, what does that leave me with?
Y equals negative 3x
Plus 6. Is that in slope-intercept form?
Yes.
Yeah, you're done. So it's not like the other problem where you had a lot of simplifying to do. This one was pretty straightforward. Okay? And so now what's going to happen is, we're going to go ahead and look at another one. Okay, and we'll see how you do.
Whoa, pencil.
All right, there you go. This one's a little different, but you
What
should
are
be
we
able to
doing it in?
handle it. Okay, slope-intercept
Okay.
form. Slope-intercept form. Okay, I went ahead and put up the first step. So what's the next step? Subtract 3. So when I do that, I should get y equals 3 halves x minus. Now if I combine those, I know negative 3 is actually negative 6 halves. So negative 3 and negative 6 is negative 9 over 2. And that is the answer you should get. Now for those of you, some of you might have put this in a mixed number form. 3 halves x minus 4.5. You can't do that. Okay, you can't mix an improper as the slope with a mixed number. So it needs to be all improper fractions. Okay, so the blue needs to be the answer that you have. Questions? Okay, real quick. What is point slope form?
Is
Y minus
y1 equals
equals,
m times x minus x1.
good. What is standard form?
AX plus BY equals C.
C, good. And then last but not least, slope-intercept.
Y equals MX plus B.
Okay, you have to know all three. Okay, it's just one of those things. You've got to file them away to memory. So now what's going to happen is you have an assignment. Your assignment is as follows. Okay, page 236, 237, 11 through 45. So I need you to get that down, and then what we're going to do is check your assignment from Friday. Okay, so your assignment, pages 236, 237, 11 through 45. This is due tomorrow.